Good afternoon.
Hey, what's going on?
Well, I'm here with Jabbar Muhammad. And as you know, we left off with a question of, how do you plan to live as an Islamic religion as a Muslim man?
Hmm.
Well, I got thinking about that question. We'll figure all that out during all your interviews.
Okay.
But what I would really like to start with is when you joined the NOI, which is the Nation of Islam. Um, what is what is your most fondest memory of maybe what got you started in the NOI and how you felt when you first started? Let's start there, and you just talk us through how you feel. Let's focus on maybe the first year of this interview.
Okay. Well, once the Nation of Islam is kind of different than most Islams. The Nation of Islam doesn't do Shahada. We read off of a letter that was written by, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was Elijah Muhammad, and you have to, yeah, that's what it is, and you have to remember the message all the way through, word by word, letter by letter, everything. You have to recite it precisely. You have to recite it precisely at that time that you get ready to go into
Now, was that in English or is that in the
English.
Arabic
It was
language?
in
Oh,
English,
you got it in
but it was a
English.
long. It was a pretty nice, nifty letter. It was
Oh,
pretty long.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So once I did that, they immediately loved to put you right on the street, which was okay with me. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing. All I knew, I was just out selling papers and bean pies and cookies and all these other things they had me selling, and we didn't get paid back then like they do now.
Right.
The brothers get paid. I didn't get paid for being out there for 5 years. Didn't get nothing.
Now, did the cookies and bean pies and newspapers sell good, or did they
Yeah, we
not?
could. We really could not keep bean pies when I was in Gary. We could not keep them. Man, I mean, they bought. They wouldn't just come and buy one or two. They buy six, or they'd buy 12. They want us to and they come from Chicago on a truck. So we would have to order so many bean pies,
Right.
or we'd have to have a brother go over and pick them up, in his car or in his truck. Yeah, but we could not keep bean pies in, and then we had cookies, and this was for our minister.
What kind of cookies?
We had oatmeal raisin, we had chocolate chip,
Oh, so a little variety.
yeah, just a little variety.
Oh, okay.
And I think at that time we had a little case of like 16. They sold for like $1 or $2.
So, what do you
So
think the purpose of selling the newspaper, the bean pie, and the cookies was?
other
To
than
keep
getting on
them.
my nerves, it was to get the word of Elijah Muhammad out to everybody.
Okay.
More so because they're more of a black nationalist group. Um, More so, not necessarily get the word out to everybody. It's more so get the word out to the black people, because
Makes sense
we are
being
the
a black national,
chosen,
right?
people of God. Yeah, they're the chosen people of God, lost tribe of Shabazz, but it's in somewhere in Pakistan or somewhere overseas in the Middle East. But it was black people over there. We're the chosen people of God.
But if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it slavery that brought uh, the Muslim religion to America?
From what I'm learning and from what I understand, and maybe somebody will correct us on this one, but from my understanding, it was slaves that brought over the Islamic religion.
To
I'm not
America.
100% sure on it. I'm pretty sure somebody will correct me on it, but that's what learning is about. But I think it was, from what I understood from one of the sheikhs or one of the imams that I heard. Yeah, that's exactly what
Okay.
happened.
I know that's jumping far ahead, but I wanted to act like I knew something.
I
So, besides being pious, what other responsibilities did you have, maybe inside the mosque or your masjid?
had the luxury of being the drill captain.
Oh, and what was that like?
Oh wow, it was. I could just say it was a gift from Allah to allow me to do that, because I was 13. The oldest brothers that I was drilling, having them doing left, right, left, right, left, right. These guys were in their 40s, and I'm 13, and my voice is carrying, getting these guys to move. So at Savior's Day, 19, I want to say 97, we had a drill team tournament,
Mm.
and I led the brothers, six brothers or seven brothers, up on stage in front of Brother Farcon, his family, and everybody, and we did our routine, and we got a standing ovation, and we got third place.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and that was considered really good at that time. Like, I don't know what they're doing now, But back in my time, oh man, if you were a good drill captain, and me being so young,
Right.
it was even that much more impressive. So
Well, that is impressive for a 13-year-old to be in that mindset. I mean, you weren't into playing football or basketball with all your buddies. You just kind of gave up all
I gave it
your
all up.
friendly playtime and went into basically religion.
Well, that's what the sad part is. That's what the sad part. I mean, don't get me wrong. Every organization, every religion, everything is going to have their negative aspects. However, just in my opinion, the Nation of Islam has 10 times the amount of negative things that any other religion has. Um, we'll go into all the mental abuse and all that
Later.
stuff later. But yeah, I had good times, but I had terrible times, more terrible times than I had good times. So
Which can be traumatic for any kid
yeah,
in
it
their
was
teenhood,
very traumatic. Yeah, extremely traumatic.
especially boys in their teenagehood. You guys are still learning and growing, and when you're learning and growing, it's really kind of hard to have that traumatic experiences.
Yeah, it was, and it's still to this day. I just wish that there was some type of way I could sit down with a group of Islamic Nation of Islamic ministers, just me. It's just me. I want to sit in front of all of them, and I just want to talk to them. I want to tell them that they understand the stuff that they have done to people's lives, how they have ruined people's lives, and not only just people's lives, but they ruined the people's lives that they say that they're out to save, and that's the black people. You can't. I don't know if they've changed it now, but anyone other than African American, and you have to be black, you cannot join the Nation of Islam. I don't know if it changed or not, but then there was exceptions. See, it was just a back and forth, in and out. I mean, it was pretty much you do what you can do, what you're allowed to do. The minister is allowed, not Farrakhan or anybody like that. I'm just saying in general, a minister. A minister is allowed to say what he wants to say from the rostrum. The only way he'll get busted is somebody tells on him. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to be too scared to tell on him because it's going to get back and you're going to get busted or you're going to get thrown out in the street like I did. And that's what happened to Malcolm. Same thing happened to me.
Mm-hmm. And we'll figure that out later.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, besides being drill, what would your day? What would a everyday look like when you go to sleep? First thing when you wake up, what happens?
First thing when I wake up, I would do wadu because we did that.
And
And
wadu is explain, please.
so basically what I do is the cleansing of the body before prayer.
Okay.
So it's a lot of people do, one time up the arm, up to the elbow, up to the elbow. Some people do, circle once, down, down, circle twice, down, down, circle twice. Third time, down, down, and then face over your head, over your head, over your head, down, mouth, water, nose, drown yourself, and then I usually just blow it out, and then wash your feet, and now you're cleansed and ready to pray to Allah.
Okay, and cleansing just makes you more pure.
It makes you more pure. From my understanding, the little bit of time that I had it, and a lot of the knowledge that I have is basically based off of Nation of Islam teachings.
Okay.
But I was smart enough to find that little crack,
Gotcha.
and found out it wasn't a little crack.
It
It was
was
a huge crack.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that until I actually became a Sunni.
Right. Which, of course, being a teenager, you're not going to know a lot of those things. And your experience that you experienced then, we're all going to understand that some of the ways you explain it is going to be that you now know what was happening then, so you can explain it a little bit different.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that just understand people when you listen, there's some understanding of he understands better now than when he was a teenager.
Yeah.
So they'll get that, okay, this was a teenager. You gave up all your friendship hood so that you could be something very special.
Right.
And that's what you were thinking when you started. So you'd wake up, you'd do your wadu, and then what would you
And
do?
so usually, I think it was around 5:30, 5:15, 5:30 was prayer. I would have prayer, and it was done a lot different than it was in the nation. I mean, than it is in Sunni Islam. You just pretty much, you can either stand or get on your knees and hold your hands out like this and pray, and that's it. And you wash the prayer over your